Coming up next to the stage, she hosts a show, an open mic at Flappers every Monday night. You can catch her tomorrow at the Riot Girl Festival in Dow Comedy Studio.
Nice.
Please welcome to the stage, Nicole Blessing.
Yeah, so I think like when you reach a certain age, all of the Bruce Springsteen songs suddenly start to make sense. Yeah, except maybe Glory Days. Like in high school, I was captain of the math team. Yeah, so it wasn't like I had a lot of cheerleaders, you know, rooting me on, going, find the volume of that sphere. Find the volume of that sphere. It is 4/3 pi cubed, if you're interested. Yes. But, you know, then I went to my 10-year high school reunion. Yeah. And the, you know, once jock Adonises of the 12th grade now had receding hairlines. Some didn't even have hair at all. No. And these burgeoning dad bods. And yet, you know, they were still as cocky as ever. Now, these were guys that, you know, did not acknowledge my existence for 4 years. Okay, but that night it was like, hey, baby, you are aging well, like a fine wine. It's like, no, I do not date cliches. And then it just made all this sense. It was like, oh, Bruce, you were so insightful. I was in grade school a Girl Scout. Anybody else a Girl Scout? Yeah, I did 5 years. Put in 5 years. Yeah, my parents thought it would be a direct line to, you know, cookie sales. But, you know, I came out the other side with enough survivalist skills to, you know, make it through a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, because divorcee troop leaders, they have, you know, one mantra: girl power. Yeah. So they would, you know, take us out in the frozen Minnesota wilderness. Yeah. And we would get a map with a dot and a compass, and they would leave us alone. We were all put in different locations, and they would say, make your way to that dot. And may the odds be ever in your favor. It was a very Yellow Jackets kind of experience. You know, and if you are not watching that show, you should, because Melanie Lewinsky is scary as fuck. Yeah, I mean, we had like no phones, no GPS, no nothing. Okay, and I heard that other like Girl Scout troops were doing like scrapbooking and stuff. You know, according to Mrs. Locke, scrapbooking is for the weak. Yeah. So, you know, we jump ahead to like, you know, adulthood. And I'm thinking like, okay, I've had knife training. What, you know, is there danger going to be lurking around every corner? You know, I felt like, you'd be walking along and be like, oh, quicksand! You know, I mean, we have sinkholes, but, you know, there's not the imminent danger. You can see those coming. And now it's like, I think, well, maybe I should exercise. Maybe I should, you know, eat better. But I feel like I'm only just, you know, a case of food poisoning away from my goal weight. I'm ready just to roll the dice and see what happens. Yeah, I thought maybe I could be edgier if I got my ears double pierced. Yeah, thank you. But I've had my ears pierced since I was 10. Okay, so decades have passed, right? And they will close. Like, if I do not wear earrings every day. I am a very slow-healing Wolverine. So that dream is dead, too. But you guys, I have achieved the goal of every Midwesterner. Okay, I am now friends with my mother-in-law.
Oh, yes.
It was hard won. I am no longer a flash in the pan or Fred's Twinkie in the city. I am the favorite daughter-in-law. And not because I'm the only one left. Having a daughter-in-law who does stand-up in LA gives my mother-in-law street cred. Yes. With the girls at Bridge Club in Little Marais, Minnesota. Yeah, so now that we're friends, she called me and she says that, she might be ready to date again. Fred's stepfather, he passed away 12 years ago. She says, well, I'm still hot to trot, but those dating apps, I don't know. They are full of catfishers. The girls at Bridge Club, they told me that canoeing is a good way to meet men. But I just don't know if they're the right kind of men. And I don't know what to tell her. I don't know if they're Dexter Morgan types, like paddling the waters of Lake Superior, dropping body parts at will. I don't know. I met Fred in the wild. Yes, it's surprising. No dating apps, like just out there, like existing and doing things. And I was initially drawn to his lack of interest in winter sports. Yes, Fred's only foray into winter sports was cross-country skiing. That is skiing on a horizontal plane. It's a little faster than walking. We're both broken Minnesotans. Yeah, my father, he was Catholic. My mother was Methodist, and I married a Lutheran. And in the Midwest, that is considered a diverse family. Yeah, so my mother-in-law, I suggested, maybe try Facebook if you're, against the dating apps. Surely there are people that you've gone to high school with or college that may be in a similar situation to yours. And she says, well, I didn't do a lot of dating back in high school. There was one boy. He was voted most likely to blush like me. Aww. And we only went out one time because either he was blushing or I was blushing, and that is no way to live. So I'm at a loss of what to tell her next. So she did call me yesterday. She's getting into politics now. Oh. Yeah. She said, I'm thinking of buying that Hitler book. Mein Kampf. Oh my God. So I can better understand what's going on in Florida. And maybe get a better grasp of, Trump and his cult of personality. I just don't understand that. Why any woman would want to be with that, I just don't know. But I am pretty happy about that indictment. So that made her happy. That made her happy. I think she's reading too much into it. I probably these women just thought, he had more money than he actually does. But, my mother-in-law, she likes to really, dig deep into things. So then we started talking about cults. Yeah, we both, have bonded over our love of cult documentaries.
Oh, yes.
Yes, recently, yes, thank you. Recently I saw Shiny, Happy People.
Oh.
The one about the Duggars. Has anyone seen that?
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, it is disturbing. This IBLP Christianity sect, apparently they're just churning out predators left and right. Yes. They also do not believe in evolution. It's all homeschooling. No science, no math, just slut-shaming 101. And they have this graph. I don't know if you're familiar with the graph, the umbrella of authority. Yeah? No? Okay, so there's one giant umbrella, and that is Christ. And underneath it, there's a husband umbrella, and then a wife umbrella, and then a children umbrella. So they're all just, but these umbrellas are not flush, people. They are not. I want to know what is stopping any of them from just stepping out from one umbrella and just being under the big one? What is stopping, the children from being mutiny, climbing up the umbrella, cutting their way through the top and making it to the top umbrella? So either these people, they need a new analogy or a better graphic. And this in itself is like an argument against homeschooling. But yeah, do love cult documentaries. Yes, and I've noticed there's, this commonality between, there's a lot of documentaries that want to subjugate, or let me start over. There's a lot of cults that want to subjugate women, okay? We have the FLDS Church, Nexium, the GOP. But I have noticed that there is one commonality, one perk amongst all this. Okay, when women are stripped of all bodily autonomy, even to the point of having to make their own clothes to conform, they opt for voluminous pockets. Okay, now, in this country, depending on, where you live, women have been stripped of bodily autonomy. The Bible Belt, or Dumbfuckistan, call it what you will, has become one giant live Handmaid's Tale experience. And yet we're still getting shafted on the pockets. Okay, so either we need to address this pocket situation, or we need to jump ahead to a Star Trek type universe and boldly go where no pockets are needed. Thank you all so much. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lonical Blessings.
Nicole Blessing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Since she brought up my mom, I thought I'd share.
Yes.
I had a conversation with her when she actually said to me on an unsecured line, some of the ladies and I in the fellowship hall were talking about how we might, whip up a batch of that ricin. And I'm like, Mom, who are they going to believe? That it's a bunch of old ladies from the Lutheran church? Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I have successfully talked her out of committing murder. That's my mom.